Few moments in history capture the spirit of protest through music like Woodstock in 1969. Over 400,000 people gathered in New York for 3 days of peace, love, and unforgettable performances. Artists like Jimi Hendrix and Joan Baez used their music to challenge the Vietnam War and call for social change. Hendrix's electrifying rendition of The Star-Spangled Banner became an instant symbol of anti-war sentiment, with its wailing guitar mimicking bombs and chaos. According to the Smithsonian, this performance is still studied for its emotional impact and political undertones. Woodstock set the tone for future generations, proving that music could be a rallying cry for hope and resistance. The festival's message of unity and peace continues to resonate, reminding us how songs can bring people together in the face of division. The world tuned in on July 13, 1985, to witness Live Aid, a dual-venue concert aimed at raising funds for Ethiopian famine relief. Organized by Bob Geldof and Midge Ure, the event featured performances from Queen, U2, and David Bowie, among others. The concerts, broadcast to over 1.5 billion viewers across 150 countries, reportedly raised more than $127 million for famine relief efforts. Queen's set, especially Freddie Mercury's commanding energy, is often cited as one of the greatest live performances ever. The music went beyond entertainment. It motivated millions to donate and take action. The event's massive reach made it clear how music could unite continents behind a single cause, showing the raw power of rock and pop to inspire real-world change. Live Aid paved the way for other benefit concerts, setting a gold standard for musical activism. Between 1987 and 1991, hundreds of thousands of Estonians gathered for mass singing events, demanding independence from Soviet rule. Known as the Singing Revolution, these protests used traditional folk songs and new anthems as peaceful weapons against oppression. Over 300,000 people reportedly joined hands and voices at the Tallinn Song Festival grounds, defying bans on patriotic music. According to the BBC, these non-violent protests were crucial in restoring Estonia's independence in 1991. Organizers believe that singing together built courage and unity, acting as a shield against military intervention. The Singing Revolution showed how melody and memory could topple an empire, with music carrying a nation's dreams. Estonia's example has inspired other movements to use culture, not violence, as their strongest weapon. Rock Against Racism, RAR, exploded onto the British music scene in 1976 as a response to rising far-right politics and racist violence. Bands like The Clash, Steel Pulse, and X-Ray Spex performed at RAR gigs, blending punk and reggae to challenge bigotry. The legendary 1978 Carnival against the Nazis drew over 100,000 people to Victoria Park, London. The energy was electric, with music and protest merging in one unforgettable day. A recent Guardian retrospective highlighted how RAR's combination of activism and sound helped weaken the National Front's influence. RAR made it clear that music could be a barricade against hate, mixing politics and pop in ways that changed British youth culture forever. Their approach turned concerts into safe spaces for diversity and resistance. In the 1980s, the global movement to end apartheid in South Africa gained a potent weapon: protest music. Artists like Stevie Wonder, Peter Gabriel, and Johnny Clegg released songs calling for freedom and justice. The Specials' 1984 hit Free Nelson Mandela became an anthem for activists worldwide, played at rallies, protests, and even in South African townships despite censorship. According to the Nelson Mandela Foundation, music was vital in keeping his name alive and pressuring governments to impose sanctions. The 1988 Nelson Mandela 70th birthday tribute concert at Wembley Stadium drew 600 million viewers, amplifying the call for his release. These songs crossed borders and barriers, showing that a chorus could sometimes do what weapons could not: bring a regime to its knees. The late 1960s saw a wave of anti-war protest in the United States, with folk musicians leading the charge. Songs like Bob Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind and Country Joe McDonald's I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die Rag became staples at marches and teach-ins. According to the Library of Congress, these songs gave protesters a shared language and emotional outlet. Joan Baez, Pete Seeger, and Phil Ochs performed at rallies, using simple melodies and biting lyrics to critique U.S. policy. The music was raw and honest, often echoing through college campuses, draft boards, and city squares. The Vietnam era proved that 3 chords and the truth could sometimes be more dangerous than any weapon. Folk music's legacy still shapes protest movements today, reminding us that a guitar can be mightier than a sword. Since 2013, the Black Lives Matter (BLM) movement has used music as a rallying cry for racial justice. Artists like Kendrick Lamar, Beyoncé, and J. Cole have released tracks addressing police violence and systemic racism. Kendrick Lamar's All Right became an unofficial anthem during the 2015 BLM protests, with crowds chanting its chorus at marches nationwide. The New York Times noted how music at protests helps energize and unify demonstrators, offering both comfort and defiance. In 2020, following the murder of George Floyd, musicians hosted live-stream concerts and released charity singles, raising millions for bail funds and legal aid. Hip-hop's roots in social commentary have made it the heartbeat of modern protest, reflecting anger, hope, and the demand for change. The movement's soundtracks are shaping politics as much as speeches or legislation. In 2016, the Standing Rock Sioux tribe led a historic protest against the Dakota Access Pipeline in North Dakota. Music and chanting played a central role at the camps, blending traditional drumming with modern protest songs. Indigenous artists like Nahko Bear and Taboo, from Black Eyed Peas, recorded tracks supporting the water protectors. According to NPR, nightly singing and drumming circles helped maintain morale during the harsh winter months. These musical rituals honored ancestors and reminded everyone why they were standing their ground. The protest drew global attention, with musicians like Neil Young and Dave Matthews performing benefit concerts. Standing Rock demonstrated the unique strength of indigenous music, connecting spiritual resilience with urgent environmental activism. In 2019, Hong Kong's pro-democracy protests found a new anthem in Glory to Hong Kong, a song composed by an anonymous musician known as Thomas CGXYHL. Crowds sang it in shopping malls, streets, and even at international sporting events, defying government bans. According to Reuters, the song's lyrics capture the longing for freedom and resistance against authoritarianism. Videos of thousands singing in unison went viral, touching hearts worldwide. The Hong Kong government tried to suppress the song, but its melody echoed on, symbolizing hope and defiance. The song became a badge of identity, uniting strangers in song and purpose. Glory to Hong Kong proved that even in the digital age, music can be a beacon for democracy and solidarity. On January 21, 2017, millions marched across the globe for women's rights, inspired by the inauguration of President Donald Trump. Protesters sang classic songs like Helen Reddy's I Am Woman, and newer anthems such as Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire. According to Time magazine, music helped bridge differences and build a sense of shared mission among diverse participants. Artists including Madonna and Janelle Monáe performed at rallies, using their platforms to demand justice and equality. Protest playlists circulated online, boosting morale and keeping momentum alive even after the marches ended. The Women's March showed that music could amplify voices, turning pain and frustration into hope and action. Protest songs for equality continue to inspire, reminding everyone that change often begins with a chorus.